The Civil War. Movie made by Maddie and Claudia. The top is the Union States, and the bottom is the Confederate States. The South had large plantations. They also had enslaved workers. The cotton gin was invented, and it made more cotton. It bought more land, so they needed more slaves. The North had fewer plantations. They had small farms. They had fewer workers were needed. Slavery was abolished also in diverse economy. The economy was based on many industries rather than just a few. The Mason-Dixon line was a border between Pennsylvania and Maryland. It was seen as the dividing lines between free states and slave states. Missouri Compromise. In 1819, Missouri wanted to join as a slave state. That was a problem. Henry Clay created a compromise. If Missouri enters as a slave state, then Maine will enter as a free state. There was a line drawn in the middle of the Louisiana Purchase. Above the line was free states, and below the line was slave states. California wanted to enter as a free state. They said that California would be a free state. New Mexico and Utah can decide for themselves which one they wanted to be. Fugitive Slave Act was fugitive slaves had to be returned. The election of 1860. The South threatened to leave if Abraham Lincoln won, and Lincoln won, so South Carolina was the first state to succeed. The candidates for the presidential election were Abraham Lincoln, John Breckinridge, John Bell, and Stephen Douglas. Fort Sumter. Fort Sumter was a U.S. fort located in the Confederacy. It was in Charleston, South Carolina. Abraham Lincoln sent warships to resupply. The Confederacy opened fire and took control of it. The first Battle of Bull Run was in July of 1861. The Union attacked the Confederate troops. The Confederates got reinforcements, so that meant the Confederates won. The Emancipation Proclamation. On January 1st, 1863, Abraham Lincoln signed it. He declared that all enslaved people in areas fighting against the Union would be free. It did not free many, but it did make a goal of the war to end slavery. The Battle of Antietam was fought in 1862. The Union won, and it was also fought in Maryland. Sherman's March to the Sea. It was from Atlanta to Savannah, Georgia. It destroyed and burned things for 100 miles. It was a Union win. The Battle of Gettysburg. It was from July 1st, 1863 to July 3rd, 1863. It was over a course of 3 days. It was the bloodiest battle, and it was a Union victory. The Gettysburg Address. Abraham Lincoln dedicated the land to those who had died in the battle, and the Gettysburg Address was a 272-word speech, and it was given by Abraham Lincoln. The war ends. Ulysses S. Grant was the general for the Union, and Robert E. Lee was the general for the Confederates. They met at the Appomattox Courthouse. Robert E. Lee surrenders, and soon the other generals do too. The Civil War was the bloodiest war in the history of the United States of America. Bye, Felicia. Peace! Thank you for watching 4 Minute History, presented to you by Maddie and Claudia.